Meet Danny Watts. He's a 22-year-old racing driver from Silverstone, currently leading the Formula Renault Championship and expected to go on to great things in the future. But a little more back down to earth, he needs to buy something a bit more ordinary to get to and from work. In his case, racing circuits all over the country. Danny, welcome to the show. 3 cars lined up, you know the form. We'll go through all of them, you'll drive them, have a look and see which one may or may not fit the bill. They're all reasonably hot hatches. First up, Citroën Saxo. It's the VTR, which is the 8-valve version, and it's well within budget. It's only about 7,800 quid. Obviously, you know the Saxo.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them about, a lot of boy racers drive them.
Yeah.
I mean, the main thing for me, obviously, is insurance, and this is the cheapest for me to insure. So that's the main priority for me to take into account.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm looking forward to driving it.
Yeah, you want something a bit special. We'll give that one a go. Insurers must be quite fun for you when they say, "So, Mr. Watts, what's your profession?" Racing driver. I bet they love you.
I know.
Seat Ibiza Cupra. It's the hot one. Quite a sporty thing, a bit unusual. Don't see many around.
No, it looks nice, doesn't it, from the outside. Interior also, middle console. It's got a small sports steering wheel, leather interior, and there's plenty of room luggage-wise for my kit, my racewear, helmet, bags, brochures, etc. So there's a lot of good things about this car.
Excellent. Well, let's move on to the third one. More familiar territory for more of us, Peugeot 206 GTI.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit more user-friendly for me getting to and from the circuits, obviously. Not a lot of room for my luggage or my sponsors in the back, taking them to and from the hotel circuit. So, I don't know, I'm going to have to weigh the 3 options up, aren't I?
All right, well, at about 9 grand, this kind of splits the difference between the two price-wise. We'll give this one a go first, OK? And while we get ready to go driving, and you're going to be gentle, I hope, Ian Royal has got more details for us on the Peugeot.
The Peugeot GTI models have had a long and illustrious past, dating right back to the very first 205 GTI, which was probably the hot hatchback of the 1980s and into the 1990s. So when its successor, this car, the 206 GTI, came about, everyone was, well, slightly disappointed, to be honest. Here was a car that was a bit bigger, more luxurious, sure, but it put on more weight and wasn't quite as nimble and as sharp to drive as the 205 was. But don't get me wrong, this car is no slouch. Top speed is 140 miles an hour and it will get to 60 in just 8 seconds. But forget about paying £14,000 for a brand new car, save yourself thousands and buy a used one instead. I tend to think that Peugeot were always on a bit of a hiding to nothing, trying to replace the 205 GTI with a car which was as good, if not better, and it certainly should have been better. So the 206 GTI did come in for some criticism. What about the inside of the car? Well, it's roomy. There are some good points and some bad points. I like the seats, the leather and the Alcantara combination, but this sort of elephant-high dashboard looks a bit naff, to be honest, but it's well equipped. You get a lot of standard kit on it, and the good news is that if you buy a used car, it will hold its value very well.
Thanks, Ian. Actually, you've been quite gentle. I was seriously scared. Racing driver, hot hatches, thought it might get a bit nasty, but
No.
You're reasonably sensible on the road.
Chilled out on the road, it's everyone else you've got to watch out for.
What do you reckon? 206 GTI.
206 GTR 6, first impressions, I would say that the car is very light steering, which is good, of course, because it makes it easy to drive. The pedal's very responsive, the throttle's very responsive. The brakes are a little bit light and not so responsive, I would say. A bit sort of, I don't know, not a positive feel. And the gears are very sort of notchy, if you like. It's very easy to feel the gates on every gear change. Obviously, I'm going to be driving up and down the country on the motorways to the different circuits all the time, visiting sponsors, and the interior, I've got to say, is appalling. It's very plasticky. There's, you know, it doesn't appeal to you. Nothing jumps out. It's very, you know, the buttons are very bland. It's not a sporty image on the inside. The seats are, I wouldn't say they hug you. They're not particularly comfortable. Interior is a disappointment.